My Hero Academia, chapter 265. So this chapter was amazing. Another great chapter in an arc that has definitely been hitting irregular. So let's go to Tokoyami, who, oh my god, this blew me away. Like, when I first read this, like, whole sequence here, I was like slack-jawed. Like, wait, what's going on? Wait, what am I seeing? And yeah, Tokoyami has seriously been buffed. So before we go into that, let me just say that, like, I was always, like, curious about where Tokoyami character and just character arc in general was going, or just him progressing, because he was built up as, you know, seemingly one of the strongest students in the beginning, and then as the story went on, his relevance kind of went and, you know, came and went, and then he kind of took an L, and then he took a really big L in the joint training exam. Like, before that, his only real, like, thing of significance that he did was lose control of Dark Shadow in the training camp arc. And then we saw how powerful he was. You know, he just, like, easily destroyed Moonfish, and, you know, it was a problem for everyone. Like, he was basically defeated due to his weakness, which is light, from Bakugo and Todoroki, like, you know, setting fires and, like, calming him down. But aside from that, it was like nobody was going to be able to take him down. And then, like I said, he lost in the joint training exam to what was her name, Kimori, I think, or something like that, the mushroom girl who we actually saw in the previous chapter. You know, Tokoyami was actually doing pretty good at the end of that round 2 of the joint training exam, but then he just got caught up with her hacks of a quirk, which he could just, like, spawn mushrooms on his lungs so he couldn't breathe. But aside from that, he was pretty much going to win. But, you know, still a massive L nonetheless. And it was like, okay, so he's got this training. He's been working with Hawks. So where is he going? And it's here. He is going right here because he legitimately defeats Re-Destro here. I mean, he's not, like, defeating him like he's done and out for the count, and that was, like, his major victory. But if this was just, like, a one-round fight, Tokoyami totally won this one. So let's break it down, because, like I said, this is an incredible moment in the series, not just this arc. So like I was talking about earlier with Tokoyami losing control of Dark Shadow in the joint training arc, and how he became that huge rampaging beast, that is what this is. Or at least that's what it looks like to me. So this means that Tokoyami has finally been able to master the full Berserk powered form of Dark Shadow. Although Dark Shadow isn't Berserk here, it's just what we saw in the training camp. So I guess that was just Horikoshi, you know, obviously that was him setting up what was the potential of Dark Shadow, and we thought, okay, well, he's probably going to use that at the end of the series. And no, we're seeing it now. But now let's go more into Dark Shadow versus Re-Destro, because this was amazing. One of the most significant moments, like I said. And it's hilarious because he's beating him because Re-Destro's prosthetic legs are snapping here. And this also answers the question of, okay, was he going to get prosthetics? As we saw him going around in that, like, Star Wars wheelchair thing. But yeah, he is, because, you know, they are the Detnerak company. They specialize in hero support and technology and all that stuff. So it's expected that he would have this, but it just wasn't strong enough to deal with the power of full-powered, seemingly, Darkshine here. And this is ultra impressive from Darkshine, because we saw how powerful Re-Destro was at this point in his stress. I think he's at 100 right here, right? This at least looks like 100% of his stress ability, and he becomes, like, pretty much like a symbiote looking Hulk. And he was, I don't know, like, the power that he was showing against Shigaraki when they were fighting, it looked similar to, like, what All Might could do. At least the All Might that fought All For One, possibly. Like, the way that he was ripping up those city blocks with, like, his stress bombs, that was insane. So I'm not saying that he was necessarily as fast as him, but maybe he was very close to his strength. So that would be like full power Darkshine overcoming, like, a weakened All Might almost. So yeah, this is a very significant feat here from Tokoyami, and this definitely bumps him up many spots on the tier list. Now we're just going to be talking about students here, of course, but obviously this is pro level strength. He could easily be a pro with this Ragnarok ability that he's developed. But going back to class 1A, I'd say he's, like, solidly in the top 4 now. There's no doubt about that. Like, it was up for question about who was, like, you know, behind Todoroki, Bakugo, and Izuku. Well, now there's no question. It's definitely Tokoyami. But now let's cut over to the other half of the chapter with the whole Hawks and Twice drama going on, because it's reaching its fever pitch right now. And this whole sequence was awesome. Like, it's so cool how Horikoshi crafted this, because first of all, we're seeing someone defeat the Sad Man's Parade, which, if you think about it, is an incredible feat. Because, like, when we first saw that back in, you know, Villain Academia, it was like, wow, that's an incredibly powerful ability. Like, how can anyone really deal with that outside of being, like, you know, Endeavor All Might or somebody like that? And we're seeing that, yeah, Hawks is able to deal with it. Like, he just shot his feathers around instantly, just taking them out before they could, like, move too much. This is going to be really cool in the anime, hopefully, when they finally get around to animating this scene. But I don't know, it just works out perfectly if you think about it, because this would, you know, essentially happen. The explanation for the amount of damage that a clone needed to melt was like equivalent to an arm breaking. So I guess getting shot with a feather missile is definitely equivalent or more of damage to that. But another thing that we're finding out here that I'm pretty sure is new information, I don't ever remember hearing this, but it's that every time Twice uses double, the durability of the clone increases. That's crazy. And I think that it's being pointed out here for a good reason. You know, we need to have that information on our mind, because it's probably going to come up later than this. So maybe Twice is going to duplicate somebody else besides himself, and then that is going to increase their durability, meaning that, like, the clones that he makes aren't going to just melt from a arm breaking equivalent of damage. It's going to need a lot more than that. They might get to the point of where, like, they're just a standard person. They're like a shadow clone almost. And then we come to the end of their fight, because this was, I guess, this was legitimately Hawks versus Twice. Like, this is what it looks like, and it was just Hawks absolutely dominating him, which is pretty cool to see. You know, Hawks is number 2 after all. Regardless of how good Twice's ability is. And then Hawks just finishes him off with the sword slash. But then we find out that he doesn't have any feathers left. Like, he used them all to take out the Sandman's Parade. But, I mean, he's still okay. He has, like, his 2 feather swords. It's more than enough. And he pins Twice down. And then they have, like, a final exchange of words. And I guess at this point, you can take it as Hawks was going to straight up kill Twice with, like, this thing, because we see, like, the clone starting to form above him, and then the feather sword going down into the head, but it's not quite reaching Jin Bubaiguara's true form, we'll say. So the fact, and also we've got little hints from Hawks at the beginning of this, when he's, like, you know, trying to basically tell Twice and the audience, I suppose, that, like, he's down to kill. Like, he's like, look, I'm not getting attached. You know, if you would have just listened, we wouldn't have to resort to this. It's like, Hawks is a very interesting type of hero, and I think he's one of the best characters in the series, honestly, because of the amount of depth that he gets, despite us not really getting depth on him, if that makes sense. And I think this further shows that it's very likely that he actually killed Best Jeanist. Because if he's down to kill Twice for the cause, then, I mean, taking out Best Jeanist actually seems like something that this individual could have did, maybe. And that brings me to the final portion of this chapter, when we see Dabi encountering him and, you know, blowing the flames and then putting his foot on top of his head, which is amazing. But then we see at the very end, in the very last panel, it looks like Dabi is, like, firing off right on top of Hawks. So does that mean he's killing Hawks here? Because I'm saying, like, it is possible that that might happen. Because I was saying, like, if Hawks did in fact kill Best Jeanist, then this is somewhat of us expecting him to die. Because, you know, he's not innocent at this point. And also, you know, the whole thing with him about to kill Twice. So, man, I think Hawks might actually die here, or something bad might happen to him. And it also might further reinforce that Icarus analogy, possibly, like too close to the sun, the flames of Dabi. I don't know. We'll see. But let me know what you thought about this chapter in the comments. I enjoyed the hell out of this one. I hope you did too. Also, give the review a like if you liked it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. And I have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And just have a great day. Stay safe.